Hello and welcome to Hughes at 10. I'm the Hughes. This is the 10. And, all my messages disappeared. Oh, thanks, thanks, OBS or Restream, whoever did that. Grrr. It's okay. I can still see them on the screen. It's fine. Just send more messages and it'll fill up and I won't look so lonely. Okay, so it is Wednesday, the 1st of September. Yes, we made it to September 2021. Oh my God. So in the news today, we had Dominic Raab, which apparently means turnip or something like it, in Dutch, I think, or Belgian. Not Belgian, that's not a language. Flemish, who knows? And also we had Dominic Raab, he was being grilled by the House Select Committee about his role in the disastrous evacuation of Kabul, in which he spent most of the time on holiday refusing to answer the phone. Because he's a twat. Could have told you that because he's a member of the current Tory party. And they're all twats. They're all twats. They're all gobshites to a man and woman. What else was in the news today? Oh, also in the news today was a little bit sort of nice fact that Wetherspoons pubs are experiencing shortages. Something brought up by a Twitter user called Graham Hughes, never heard of him, which is subsequently reported with said Graham Hughes' tweet in the Metro, the Express, the Lad Bible was in I think Unilad. It was in what else was it on? It was in like loads of different the Independent. It was on the Independent as well. Anyway, so yes, basically, Wetherspoons, gobshite pubs for gobshites, owned by a gobshite, privately educated wank nugget, a full-on Wurzel, known as Tim Martin, and his pubs are suffering difficulties getting hold of gammon. Oh no, actually, they'll never suffer a difficulty getting hold of gammon. They attend their public houses frequently. No! They've had a shortage of beer caused by, would you believe it, Brexit. The very Brexit that absolute fuck-knuckle, cockweasel, arsehole, bastard, shitbag, fuggernaut, Tim Martin, spent millions of pounds of his own money, on trying to make sure that Brexit went ahead. Because he was desperate for his Brexit. He thought it'd be great to shut off trade routes to other countries, to impose economic sanctions on ourselves. You know, like what you do to the daft fuckers who lose a war, yeah? Do you know what it's like to lose a war? You do now. You know when you lose a war, what happens is you have to sign a treaty, and in that treaty, you have to give up a load of shit. That's what happened in the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. That's what happened in the Treaty of Vienna in 1815. It's what happened in the Treaty of Utrecht and the Treaty of Westphalia. One side had to give up a metric fuck ton of stuff to the other side, the victors. So the losers have to give the victors a load of stuff. It might be reparations in the case of World War I, or it might be in the case of a lot of ongoing conflicts in the 20th century. It might be something called sanctions. Sanctions is this idea that you basically stop them from trading as efficiently as usual by basically, I don't know, making everything cost a lot more to get in and out the country, put a load more red tape, a load of bureaucracy, declaring that certain companies weren't allowed to trade with that particular country. Yeah, sanctions. Usually put on a country for being naughty or for losing a war. We have not lost a war, and yet so many of our rights have been stripped from us. So many of our rights. The right to live and work, procreate, get married, start a business, build a shop, retire. In France, in Germany, in Luxembourg, in Belgium, in Holland, Netherlands, in Denmark, in Sweden, in Finland, in Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Slovenia, Hungary, Austria, Italy, Malta, Cyprus, Greece. Why? Why were these rights taken away from us? Because of the fuck-knuckles in charge and the fuck-knuckles who think that they are living gods. And therefore we have to, I don't know, listen to what they say or something. They have some kind of, I don't know, some superior knowledge over us in the way that the world works, the way trade works, commerce, medicines, the climate change. Who knows? Anyway, so the other third bit of news in the news today is the fact that Texas has decided to bring in a law. Oh, something on my feet there. Oh, it's back from Waterstones. They've decided to bring in something, an abortion law, which makes it almost impossible to get an abortion. You've got to get an abortion, I believe, within 6 weeks of conceiving. Usually, I don't know if you know a lot about biology, but it usually takes a month, give or take, before you realise that you might be pregnant. Because women skip periods. It just happens. They move about, they go on holiday, they're stressed out, might miss a period, not think anything of it. It's usually when they miss the next period that they go, oh shit, better take a pregnancy test. Oh yes. So Texas has now got more regressive policies towards women and their own body autonomy than a lot of the states that America goes around the world trying to blow up on the grounds that they're not very democratic. Well, there you go. Right, so I haven't said hello to everyone yet. That's very remiss of me. I'm very, very sorry. I apologise profusely. I've got John Barnicon saying hello. I've got David saying hello, everyone. Kisses. He's always so happy to see everyone. Guten Abend says Pineapple Boy, which I think is German. Bayerberg says morning, which I think is Polish for evening. Juraj says the Italians have a nice proverb. Ci semina vento. No, it's too long. Raccololi tempestia. Who sows the winds reaps tempest. I like that. David says, hello, Graham. How are you, my great, wonderful, and funny ginger? No, thank you. I'm funny and wonderful. I used to be, but thank you. Anyway, Kevin says, hi, all. Graham says, good evening. That Italian proverb in Spanish is Qui siembra viento recogge tempestades. Oh my God, I've got to learn some languages. I barely speak English. Love that bus, says Eland. Thank you very much. I decorated it myself on Photoshop. Steve Banbury says dobre večera, I think. Večera. I don't know if that's Czech or Croatian. But hello. John Barnicon says, let's get all biblical. For they have sown the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. It hath no stalk, the bud shall yield no meal. If so be it yield, the strangers shall swallow it up. It means nothing to me. We've got Hughes at tennis from Brexit. You either love it or hate it. Rob didn't want to say in Parliament that when he went on his jollies. Yeah, this was a really fun bit. On his questioning today, he says, well, when did you go on your jollies? And he went, I can't tell you that. It's a state secret because I'm a twat. Basically, that's what he said. I'm not, this isn't verbatim, okay? A Spanish TV channel. They are broadcasting Pretty Woman. Graham, can I be your Julia Roberts? That would make you a prostitute. And that would make me a guy who basically buys a girlfriend. No. Let's not go down that route, my friend. Pretty Woman is actually a pretty bad not role model, because it's not a model, is it? Role story for young people falling in love. I'll do, says Lee Corn. From the depths of sunny Manchester. Duke Vengeance says, Shepherd of the Azure Fire, Duke Vengeance. Okay. Big up the Stockport Massive, says Lee. Adam says, glad you're here, but is beginning to think you've gone to Wetherspoons to celebrate your latest viral hit tweet. Well, yeah, I've had 2 today. You wait ages for a viral hit tweet to come along, and then literally 2 come along in the same day. So one of them was the aforementioned post about this utter gobshite and his pubs. It was a. I actually got it from Jamie, and he posted it on Facebook, but he put it up there as just a shared amongst friends post, so I just stole it and put it as a public post. So I didn't take the picture, but then I have to apologise profusely to Jamie. He said, "Oh, don't worry, I didn't take the picture either." So I wasn't even sure that it was an actual Wetherspoons, but luckily the trustworthy and doughty journalists of this country actually phoned up Wetherspoons and asked, and Wetherspoons actually confirmed that it was a sign on one of their pubs. I didn't know. I don't care. I'm not a news publication. But yes, so what was I going to look at? I was going to look at my profile. So the other tweet that I put out, which is relevant to the sort of shit we've been talking all year, or I've been talking all year, is 207 reported COVID deaths today. 207. Quick reminder. The death toll in New Zealand is 26. It's been 26 for almost a year. Still 26. It was 26 yesterday, 26 today. Probably going to be 26 tomorrow. Might go up to 27 if someone, I don't know, has COVID, falls under a bus. They've had 26 since the start of the pandemic 20 months ago. Not 26,000, not 2,600, not 260, just 26. And the question I asked was, where do you think the UK is going wrong? Which got 199 responses, mostly involving people saying, just probably because your government's a piece of shit. Everyone pretty much is saying Johnson. And then there's been some really quite hilariously pathetic people who have tried to defend the government, and I assume they're being paid for this, right? Because it's like it's like they can't be that in love with the government, can they? Really, with Boris Johnson, are they that pathetic? Are they that spineless? I mean, these are the people who call us the beta cooks. Beta, yeah. I think about how much of a beta I am when I, go and set a couple of Guinness World Records by being the first person to visit every country in the world without flying. When I marched into Afghanistan on my own in 2010 with a backpack on, going to Herat for the day, I thought to myself, God, I'm so fucking beta. Look how beta I am, mate. When I did the same when I went into Congo and they put me in jail for a week. I got out, put my hat back on and kept going on my journey. Felt very beta at that moment. And I felt even more beta when I was living on a tropical island that I won in a game show, surrounded by bikini babes and driving around in a speedboat, having a bloody great time and drinking $1 beers. God, I got drunk. Wow, I got drunk. Yes. And whenever I, finish off doing my shows each night and I crawl into bed, my beautiful girlfriend who's hot as fuck and has a PhD in physics, I think, bloody hell, man, you beta, you sad little beta. Oh, God, why'd you even bother getting up in the morning? And yet these are the people who follow the Tories around like little dogs, little yappy dogs. Yep. Like, maybe they'll drop a sausage. Maybe they'll drop some cocaine. Maybe they'll drop some money. Yep. And they follow them around. It's just so fucking embarrassing. There's one thing I can say about myself. It's just don't follow anyone around. Just don't follow people. Just don't, they'll always let you down. I was thinking about the people I respect the most in the world. David Attenborough, Greta Thunberg. Who alive? I'm trying to think of someone else who's alive that I've got a lot of respect for. But then I think about people who I used to have a lot of respect for, like George Lucas before he made the prequel trilogy. And I think, they always let you down. The people just let you down, so you've got to be at defense against it. Some don't, but they're in the minority. So yeah, don't put people on the pedestal. Don't follow them around. Okay, so anyway, but I'm trying to find. I was going to have a look at one of the messages that came up where someone was like, "Oh, but New Zealand have had forever lockdowns," and someone else replied from New Zealand saying, "We haven't had a lockdown for like a year. What are you talking about? We got a lockdown now because we've got an outbreak, but things have been fairly normal. The economy's ticking over fine. What? But there you go. Trending at the moment is Brexit chaos. It doesn't take much to trend on Twitter, to be honest with you. And Evening Standard is reporting people were quick to mock Wetherspoon's boss Tim Martin for his vocal support of Brexit, which is believed to have contributed to lorry driver shortages, although they've said it was as a result of a strike, which hasn't happened yet. Oh, Chinny wreck on. Oh, Jimmy Hill. Anyway, yes. The Dom B has put, I used to give Wetherspoons credit for its democratic pricing and half-decent curries. Not now. Brexit owner Tim Martin has been instrumental in creating the labour and supply shortages now affecting him. He deserves everything he gets. Hashtag Brexit chaos. One of the people I follow, who's called Marie-Anne, she's put, telling, isn't it, that BBC presenters happily shouted Project Fear for 5 years, but won't say Brexit chaos now, or even mention Brexit. And there you go. And then people are putting up stuff about Brexit not working, because it's not working. Right, back into the chitty chat. Where was I? I got a bit distracted there. Wetherspoons or forks. Duke Vengeance, I watched Rob squirm. Oh, it's done that thing where it's refreshed the bloody screen while I'm bloody reading something. Don't do that, you stupid screen. I watched Rob squirm against those questions. It's unbelievable how he hasn't resigned yet. But you would have to actually feel shame to do that. Yeah, shameless. That's what the series, the documentary series about the Tories should be called, Shameless. Unfortunately, it was used by Channel 4 for a show which, it was funny. It had some funny bits. I will give it that. It did have some funny bits. However, it did feel a bit like poverty porn, along with Benefit Street. Ooh, there's an idea for Channel 4. Anyone from Channel 4 watching? How about, instead of doing Brexit Street, where you take the piss out of people really struggling in life, how about you do Brexit Street, where you do a documentary about a bunch of fucking millionaire cunt Tories who all live in gated bloody manors on a street in London, in houses worth £7 million each, and how their lives and businesses are slowly, excruciatingly torn apart by the Brexit that they championed. Oh, I'd like to watch that. I'd like to watch millionaires out on the fucking street begging. I'd like to see that. I won't take universal credit because I still have my dignity, they say as they crap their pants while sucking off a Latvian sailor in return for bread. Okay, so moving swiftly on. There's nothing so lonesome, no, so dull, or so drear than to stand in the bar of a pub with no beer, says Pineapple Boy. Well, yes. I always felt when I travelled, obviously I was travelling on my own, and I've travelled on my own a lot around the world, and I don't necessarily recommend it. It's good in one way because it means that if you fuck up, no one's around to point it out to you. If you walk 15 miles in the wrong direction, you just walk back. There's no one complaining at you that you've taken them 30 miles in a round trip for no good reason. But it's nice to share things. It's nice to share experiences. So I would recommend, if you can go traveling as a twosome, as two people, two friends or a couple. I would recommend that over going alone. Obviously, if you go alone, you can go faster. So if you're on a mission, if you're on like a charity mission or something, then yeah, fine, go alone. Don't just drag all the people to the South Pole just to have them freeze to death on your watch. However, and this is really important, you should listen to this. 1 is fine. 2 is fine. 4 is fine. 5 is fine. 6 is fine. 7, 8, 9, 10 is probably too much. Never, ever travel in a 3. That is my top bit of travel advice that I ever give anyone when they go, can you give me some advice about travel, Graham? And I go, yeah, of course I can. Never travel in a 3. Never fucking do it, okay? Maybe, hashtag, not all threesomes. Sometimes it works out, but nearly every single travel horror story that I heard backpacking around the world, or fellow backpackers, nearly always involved 3 people traveling together, 2 people wanting to do something, 1 person not wanting to do it, and that 1 person feeling left out, and that growing into resentment, which then simmered through the whole trip and destroyed it. So yes, never travel as a 3. Unless if you're a couple of parents and you got 1 kid, that's fine because you can tell them what to do. I'm just talking about 3 adults traveling together, 3 wise men. Bullshit, mate. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I'm not having that for a second. I'll take the baby Jesus being born in a manger to a virgin. That's fair enough. It's the sort of thing that happens, isn't it? But I'm sorry, when it comes to the three magi traveling from fucking India, all the way to Bethlehem without falling out with each other, I'm calling bullshit on that one. Okay, moving swiftly on. 10,000 bounty for dobbing in anyone involved in an abortion after 6 weeks. Some scumbags will be making a lot of money. Indeed. Texas state sign should be changed to Gilead, which is the state out of Handmaid's Tale. Bayerberg says there's a ton of gammon in Poland. Move there to have all the privileges and dismantle the EU from the inside. Not going so well. Ruling National Socialist Party is crumbling. Change for the better is coming. I hope so. We're going to talk about abortion and gay rights. Obviously, Poland is really dragging its heels compared with the rest of the EU, and the possible exception of Hungary. But it's regressing. It's actually regressing, as America is as well. God Kaval says, Henrik, thank you very much. I think that means good evening. Adrian says, Dim Martin's pubs can serve up free drinks or Brexit sovereignty for which EU serving staff won't be needed. Punters may not even have to enter at all to enjoy an abstract glass of sovereignty. I like what he did there. Obviously, lots and lots of benefits to having endemic shortages. How puzzling is it that more countries don't aspire to inflict mass product shortages on themselves? Weird. Well, yeah, I mean... But you can't compare the 26 people who have died of COVID in New Zealand with the 150,000 people who died in the UK because, they're both... New Zealand's an island. Okay. But yeah, we should be the country that everyone aspires not to be. That's what the Brexit motto should have been. Too many words though, obviously. We're gonna suck. That would have probably worked better than whatever shite Remain came up with before the actual referendum. Ace of base before you find out they're fascists. Yeah. Blaming Boris now. Kipper, the jig is up. Rab didn't even bloody know how many UK nationals were still in Afghanistan. Surely if he's going to the inquiry, that's the first bit of information to find out. Did you actually see that fucking pantomime? Did you watch it, Duke? Did you see it where you went... it's in the low hundreds. And the guy asking him the question said, hang on, I think it was Tim talking at, and he said, hang on, do you mean like low hundreds as in like 105 or low hundreds as in 300 or 400? And he didn't answer. Oh my God, it was excruciating. It was absolutely excruciating to watch a man who is very fucking well paid lying through his fucking teeth. And all of his little Tory boys, all applauding him, like, not the few Tories who actually are onto his game and onto Boris Johnson's game, but the majority of the bootlickers, the fanboys, the worst. You get like proper like nerds who are like massively into Star Trek. No offense to any Star Trek nerds, I am one myself, or Star Wars, or Marvel, or Dungeons and Dragons, whatever. Imagine being a fanboy of a political party, of a fucking political party. Like, where's your self-respect? Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah. So lots of people on Twitter today defending Rob. Hopefully, they're being paid for it. The same people defending Tim Martin, defending the fact that 150,000 people have fucking died in this fucking country of fucking COVID in the last fucking 20 months. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, 26 people have died. Because they've got a grown-up in charge of the fucking country. We haven't. We have a bunch of fucking arrested development, adults with with the brains of children, like Robin Williams in that terrible movie Jack, where he grew up really fast and then he died. Sorry, spoilers. For real life as well, unfortunately. So, moving on. In New Zealand at the moment, life in Christchurch, lockdown is nearly over, and no one got infected in the South Island. Woo! Yes! That's from Eowyn, I think that's pronounced. Tulsa, over in, I guess, New Zealand, in Christchurch, which is a beautiful, beautiful town. Is it the River Isis that runs through Christchurch? Am I making that up? We're going to have to look that up again. Been to Christchurch, been down to Dunedin, went to Dunedin. In the South Island, where went around a whiskey distillery. That was boss. Got absolutely wrecked. Went to see Rabbie Burns' statue. There's a big fuck off statue of Rabbie Burns because the Dunedin, which is the other name for Edinburgh, they it's like the old name for Durham is Dunelm, like the furniture shop. Anyway, yes, it was founded by Robert Burns' grandson. Founded Dunedin. Also been to Christchurch. Christchurch said that one. Also been to Queenstown. Queenstown. Did the big bungee jump in Queenstown. Shot myself. Not literally, just metaphorically. Where else did I go? I've been round to the Fiordland National Park on a ship and gone through the fjords on the ship. It's beautiful. Seen the Remarkables, the mountain range. It's called the Remarkables. Like, fucking hell, mate. Those mountains are quite remarkable. What should we call them? Let's call them the fucking Remarkables. I like that attitude. Yeah. Where else did I go? Greymouth. I went to Greymouth. That's quite nice. A little fishing village. In the South Island. I've been all around the North Island as well. Anyway, there's a really lovely place in the North Island called Napier, which was destroyed by an earthquake in the 1930s. And they rebuilt it in Art Deco style. So it's all pastel Art Deco style. And it looks fucking awesome. Looks fucking awesome. I really recommend it. And people go around in old 1920s cars with straw boaters on their heads, and like they're in the Great Gatsby. Oh, I've got a super chat. I think it's from Eurovosh. Let's have a look. It says you. Yes, thank you very much, Eurovosh. Boy, being a Tory MP is a sweet job. Get massive money for being totally incompetent and doing nothing. In any other job, those people would starve. Yeah, in any other job, those people would end up in fucking jail. Because people have died. People have died as a direct result of their inability to do their fucking job. In any other walk of life, that would be called corporate manslaughter. But for some reason, the Tories get away with it. And the annoying thing is, they wouldn't, well, not the annoying, there's lots of annoying things about it, but they wouldn't let anyone else get away with it, would they? Could you imagine if Corbyn, under a Labour government, had allowed all this shit to happen on his watch? Do you think the newspapers would be like, oh, well, you know, he's sad. He's sad. That's what they all fucking reported. All these bastard newspapers when Boris Johnson announced that we'd hit the grim milestone of 100,000 British people dead of COVID. And it was reported in the newspaper that Boris Johnson was sad. He was very sad. Look at him. Look how sad he is, everyone. Look at the sad man. Look at the sad little millionaire. The sad little millionaire with loads of fucking power who gets to do what the fuck he likes. Fuck who the fuck he likes while his wife's being treated for cancer. He doesn't give a fuck. Have as many kids as he likes. Wikipedia doesn't even know how many children he's got. And he always gets away with it. He's the little boy from that episode of The Twilight Zone, Anthony, who is a monster who can change reality. And everyone has to be really nice to the little cunt because you can't say a horrible thing to Anthony, because if you say a bad thing to him, if you tell him off, he'll turn you into a jack-in-the-box. Do Tories have brains in their heads? No, I don't think so. Tim Martin, so whose idea was that the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Permanent Undersecretary on holiday all at the same time during a crisis? The Tories. Chubai says, Newton, who could have predicted the future with the Bible? More heroes. Newton, who thought he could predict the future with the Bible. Newton was also a wannabe alchemist. He tried to change base metal into gold using stuff including lemon juice. I mean, the guy was a bit nuts, and he was really fucking horrible to Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, not the bassist, Robert Hooke was a scientist. He was one of the founders of the Royal Society. In fact, I don't think Isaac Newton was a founder. I think he was a bit of a Johnny-come-lately. And Isaac Newton took over the Royal Society. He as chair of the Royal Society, or whatever the top thing is. I think he took it over from Robert Hooke, and basically eradicated him from history. And it was only because about 20 years ago they found Hook's writing in like a cottage in the Isle of Wight, which is so fucking random, that they found out that Robert Hooke actually came up with the idea of gravity. And then he sent the information to Isaac Newton, who I think was living in Cambridge at the time, and said, hey, Isaac, can you do the maths for this? Because you're better at maths than I am. And Isaac Newton didn't respond. And then a couple of years later, he published Principia, which was his book on gravity, amongst other things. Anyway, but moving on. Okay, Kevin Hegarty, where was all this Brit war spirit, Graham? Your country need people out in the field and the factory to keep Britain going. Why aren't all the unemployed gammons standing up to the call? Because they're not unemployed, mate. They're retired. And 1 in 5 retirees in this country are millionaires. Also, 1 in 5 pensioners in this country are living in poverty. Great. Well done, everyone. John Barleycorn. Well, what are you doing creeping around the cowshed at 2 in the morning? Doesn't sound very wise to me. That's from Monty Python's Life of Brian. I got that reference. It's true Poland is very homophobic, but Russia is worse. Yes, in Chechnya, which was a breakaway republic from Russia in 1995, which quickly gobbled back up by Russia. They have a fella in charge who's a fucking nut job, and he's Putin's number one fan. And they actually put people who are gay, lesbians, into re-education camps. It's actually happening right now, today, in Chechnya. We do business with these fuckers. We buy their gas off them. We buy their oil off them. Why are we buying anything off them? Just sanction the little bastards out of existence. Leave it to the Chinese to buy Russian-made goods like they're going to. I mean, they can make anything that Russia makes better and for less. So, yeah. I mean, if we don't buy stuff off Russia, as in we, Europe, don't buy stuff off Russia, America doesn't buy stuff off Russia, Canada doesn't buy stuff off Russia, who the fuck's going to buy stuff off Russia? Hey. But no, we continue on because trade is more important than human life. We got a Bravo, Sean. I don't know what the Bravo is for, but well done. White-haired one-party fanboy. It's done it again. Darren Grimes. I foresee a rude awakening in his future. Well, he had to leave London, didn't he? And had to go and live with his mum. And I was making fun of him the other day, and someone said, well, I live with my mum. And I'm like, well, yeah, I live with my mum. I mean, they were saying they live with their mum. I'm saying, yeah, that's not a problem if you don't hobnob with multi-millionaires. Like, this kid should have his own mansion by now. Wasn't he given, £600,000 of money to run the Believe campaign? Do you remember that? 2016? Have a look. Have a look how much money he got. Where's it gone, Darren? Pissed up the wall, probably. Little shit bag. Dunelm are Brexiteers, don't shop there. Well, that makes sense because it's the old name for Durham. Although, Durham City voted Remain. It's just everywhere else voted to leave. Isis River is in Australia, not peaceful New Zealand. Oh, okay. Well, what's it called then? I'm going to look it up. What was the river called? I'm sure it was like... I remember thinking, it's got the same name as the river that runs through Oxford in the UK. Christchurch. River Avon. That's it. River Avon, I think. Yeah, the River Avon. Sorry, not the ISIS. Terrible memory. It was 19 years ago that I was there, so give me a break. Newton was also a plagiarist. Yes, he was. He stole most of Robert Hooke's work. Chubai, thanks, Ernie. Chubai says, Raab went on holiday. Let British servicemen be in harm's way, yet these gammon are backing Raab. They'll be wearing poppies next month. Yeah, poppies. Fucking hate poppies now. In the same way that I hate the British flag. Didn't used to. It's a design classic. The British flag is actually a really well-designed flag. There's a lot of flags out there that are just tricolours, tricolours, fucking boring as fuck, mate. And there's ones that are just dead fiddly. You know, how do you fucking paint that on your face? How do you paint a Mexican flag on your face? Because you can either just go for the Italy, or you actually bother to draw on this bit of your face. You have to draw an eagle eating a snake on a cactus. What? It didn't say... Look, the competition wasn't to draw a cartoon. It's draw the fucking flag. So you can look at it through binoculars from a long way away and go, okay, we won't blow up that ship because they're one of our allies. Anyway, yeah, it's a bit sad, that, isn't it? When you get to the point where when I was younger, I didn't wear a poppy out of pride. I wore a poppy out of remembrance, because it wasn't my place to feel pride in what someone else has achieved, what an earlier generation had achieved. That was their victory. That was their pride. I only want to take pride in the stuff that I do, or stuff that I have a hand in doing. Me, myself. That's where my pride comes from. Not from some people who I've never met and will never meet because they're fucking dead, dying in a bloody trench in the 1910s. But the poppy has been so politicised. It's been just hijacked by the far right, the gammon, twat bags, the Brexiteers, screaming at anyone who'll fucking listen. Wear a fucking poppy! When I was growing up, I don't remember there being pressure to wear a poppy. You could wear one that you wanted. You could not wear one that you wanted. No one really talked about it that much. Yeah, we had Remembrance Day services at church. Remember that. The only time I remember keeping a minute's silence in school for the war was on the 50th anniversary in 1995, because it was the 50th fucking anniversary of the end of the Second World War. Other than that, no, just we got on with stuff because, you know, the war was a long time ago. And as Terry Christian pointed out a few months ago, I thought it was great. He said that I don't remember people, you know, going on about the Boer War when we were younger. Remember that war that happened 100 years ago? Let's talk about it forever and ever and ever. Or the Crimean War. No one mentions it now. Poppy should not be about Brexit, Graham Hughes. Isn't part of the problem that if people abandon all national causes or symbols, they all get more and more owned by the far right, and then a spiral ensues? Yeah, it is a problem, but what do you want me to do? You know, the people who are disrespecting the dead the most by pretending that plagiarizing, there you go, just said that about bloody Isaac Newton, plagiarizing the achievements of others and fobbing it off as their own thing. We won the war. Anyone who says we won the war is taking credit for something they didn't fucking do, unless they're 95 years old and they did actually fight in the fucking war. That's the only excuse there. If that's not the case, then fuck off. Seriously, fuck off. They're saying, oh, yeah, we won the war. No, you didn't. You weren't even fucking born. You didn't fucking exist. And yeah, they've really hijacked it. And it's sad. But I don't know. There's some stuff that I like that I don't think they'll ever manage to hijack, because it's a bit highbrow for them, I think. But yeah, poppies, symbol of remembrance, they've been turned into a symbol of pride. I wear my poppy with pride, and that's become the name of the thing. You know, in a way that you could, do you equate that with gay pride? Because gay pride is about letting people who are gay know that there are people who are gay and it's okay. That's what that's about. It's living people who are proud of who they are right now. They're not taking pride in the achievements of better men and women who lived 100 years ago. Ghosts. They're taking fucking the credit of ghosts from ghosts. I don't know. Poppies have been controversial ever since the campaign first started. I don't remember it ever being this much of a bun fight when I was growing up, though. They will wear poppies because they're definitely not hypocrites at all. We won the war as they attempt to shuffle their beer belly off the couch for another beer. Yeah, indeed. It's very true. Betty Berg says, the Germans, like the British flag, was easier to aim their machine guns at when you had a cross X2 in your sights. Well, we did paint targets on the side of our Spitfires, so Hey, we used to go to war in bright red jackets. Chubai. It was only in the 60s when homosexuality was criminalised in the UK. Just look what the UK did to churing, yeah. It was only in the 90s, the 1990s. Do you remember them? Yeah. It was only in the 1990s that in the UK, it was made illegal to rape your wife. Up to that point, if you were married to someone, you could rape them. In fact, if you tried to split up with them, but they had decided that you had to stay married to them for 5 years, because that's a stupid rule that we have, you could legally rape them. You could turn up 4 years into the separation and legally rape your wife. That's how far we've come in the last 30 years. But people want to take us back. People want to take us back to the days when you could be openly racist. You could be homophobic. We could put people in jail for being gay. We could force people who are gay to undergo horrific chemical castration, like what happened to Alan Turing. He was forced to take estrogen. Poor guy grew breasts and fucking killed himself. They want to take us back to that era of intolerance. Some of them want to take us back to the era of pounds, shillings and pence. Makes no fucking sense at all. You know, pre-decimalisation, that's what they want. They want to regress to their childhood because that's as far as their fucking brains ever got. That's it. They got to the age of 12 in their brain and their bodies grew, but their brain fucking didn't. Now they're in the 60s and the 70s. Old age is kicking in, senility. It's a one-way street, isn't it? Where do you think they're going to go? Let's return to when we were children. You can never go back. You can never go back, mate. And why the fuck would you want to? Go back to the 70s, all the strikes and the bodies lying unburied because the grave diggers went on strike. The bags of rubbish piled up on the streets. Britain begging on its hands and knees for the biggest bailout by the IMF in human history. Yeah, great days, mate. Great days. Let's go back to the 70s. And then you got the older ones. Go back to the 50s. Oh, in the 50s when you could be openly racist. Them were the days when Britain was recovering from the war, paying off the money given to it by America under the Marshall Plan. Basically, still living under rationing. The kids used to play. There were no play areas for the kids. You used to play on like bombed out buildings. That was fun. Till you got a shard of glass through your foot. But yeah, the 50s. Let's go back to the 50s. The Suez Crisis. My dad helped me in the war. He was in the RAF. I'll give him that. Pineapple Boy, I think the Soviets won the war, just judging by the numbers. The Brits were better at fighting natives who were fighting with spears and arrows and sharpened fruit, indeed. Jeremy Goff says, I met a rear gunner in Halifax, sadly passed 2 years ago. Jeff Towers was his name. What a guy he was. He volunteered for more service in World War II. Wow. The First World War, the British lost a lot of officers and generals because they refused to duck from gunfire. It was seen as demoralising for the men they were leading. Not as demoralising as seeing your leader getting their head fucking blown off then, I suppose. But also, you know, in the war, there were two things, right? First of all, they didn't want to give anyone helmets because they found that if they gave them helmets, head injuries went up. Yeah, because they didn't fucking die when they got shot in the head. And secondly, they didn't give the people in the planes parachutes because they thought they'll just jump out the planes, because the planes were so expensive back then to produce. They didn't want to lose any of them. The planes were worth more than the pilots who flew them, so they were like, no fucking way are you jumping out this plane even if it's on fire and the wings are falling off. You've got to stay in it to the ground and die. Ha ha ha. Yeah. And they used to put butter on burns. Oh, why would you go? Smallpox still existed. Fucking Spanish flu. Why would you want to go back to that? Ernie Burns, yes, the Thatcher government implemented an anti-gay propaganda law that was remarkably similar to the ones recently implemented in Russia, Poland, Hungary, etc. Yeah, that was clause 28 in the UK, which I grew up under. I grew up under that. And I remember being in biology classes where we were doing like sex education, and me being a class clown, twat, whatever, hand up. That's how you have sex with a woman. How'd you have sex with a man? And the teacher couldn't tell us. The teacher legally couldn't tell us how two men could have sex or how two women could have sex because of clause 28. any literature or promotion of any literature or spoken or advice or anything to do with the promotion of homosexuality or homosexual acts was banned in schools. So an entire generation of gay children, gay teenagers, were not given the support they needed or deserved. And as a result of that, many of them have denied that they were gay and ended up getting married and then coming out maybe years later. Others killed themselves. They fucking killed themselves. And I think when it comes to what's happening now, which is just history repeating with trans people, because the same arguments, the exact same fucking arguments that were used against gay people being allowed to be themselves are now being used against trans people being allowed to be themselves. Exactly the same. Think of the children. Okay, yeah, thought of them. I don't see a problem here. But they might go into a bathroom and do something naughty. Yep, and that'll be a crime. So they'll be arrested and put in jail, I assume, for committing a crime. But we're not Minority Report. We can't preemptively take a whole segment of society and discriminate against them on the grounds that one of them might commit a crime at some point in the near future. If that was the case, you'd be able to put all the Tories in jail tomorrow. Oh, that's actually quite a good idea. Unworkable. But yeah, the really, really shocking statistic that I saw about trans people when I was doing my research before last year I did a pubcast. It was a Zoom pubcast because I'm allowed in pub at the moment, with a couple of my friends from America, Jess, who's a trans woman, and Alex, who's non-binary. And yeah, when I was doing my research, I came across some research that had been done in America into how many trans people try to kill themselves, and it was 50%. 50%. That's so disturbing. I don't know where to go with that. And why? Well, because society makes it really fucking... It's difficult enough being trans, feeling like you're in the wrong body. And then society, these horrible harridans and bastards who just want to make your life miserable, make people's lives who are already difficult more difficult. But that's what they do, isn't it? That's what all the Tories and the Brexiteers and the transphobes and the homophobes and the racists and the goddamn Nazis, that's all they ever want to do, is they want to make people's lives that are already difficult a bit more difficult. Bastards. Someone explained to xenophobic pensioners that even if we went back to the way the 50s were, they will be too old, still be old in a home. Time travel backwards doesn't work. Just joined, beam video projecting rejoin images on Nottingham Castle walls. Oh, that's really cool, Patrick. Well done. I approve. Yovash says, base 12 means you can easily divide by 2, 3, 4, and 6. It's less stupid than it seems. Yes, but I haven't got 12 fingers. Haven't got 12 fingers. Haven't got. And, working out 56 times 10 is 560. Trying to work out 56 times 12. Yeah, it's going to take me a while. 1970s, not all bad. This is Jim Bravo Bob in capitals. Free uni plus livable grant. Council houses abound. Right to strike, etc. Thatcher ruined a lot of good social stuff. Yeah. Brings back some of that. Martin Bennett says, don't knock pound, shilling, and pence and avoirduplets circulating in base 12 and 16 was a mathematical feat. Actually doubt Camerons could do it. Kevin says, I was there. I grew up in the last night. I'm physically it's still the same, but the community has changed into hipsters. But I remind myself there is time in the area and so on. You're right. Old people hate the passing of time. Well, of course. I mean, also everything aches. I get this. I'm getting older. I'm 42 now. Things are starting to ache. Starting to wake up in the morning and make dad noises. Ugh. Never used to make noises like that. What the hell is that kind of noise? You don't want to make a noise like that. Jesus Christ. Imagine you were listening in next door and you heard someone make a noise like that. You'd get the wrong idea. Just joined, read that one. Someone explained that there was a video by a YouTuber called Lindy Beige. Decimal is superior. End of, says RC, but didn't put a full stop in of end of. So kind of your argument was kind of lost its it lost its forward momentum at the end there. You really needed a full stop. Jeremy Goff, as much as I like you, you are no Rachel Riley. Yes, I'm no Rachel Riley. If only I was. Oh, I wouldn't leave the house. Just be staring at myself in the mirror all day. Anyway, so yes, moving on. I was going to say a bit more about the news that is coming through. So we're coming up to 11. So I'm gonna sack this off soon. Is Glasgow with us tonight? Glasgow, can you hear me? Glasgow, coming into Glasgow. Let me know. Oops, full stop, lol, says RC. Good. Hex, the 70s were great. Music, drugs, women. I know I'm a bad human, but I have problems with trans, not them being trans, more the fact that I can't take people unable to make a choice, pick one. I'll pay for the operation if needed, just pick one. Why is it so important to you that people pick one? Why, Christian? What do you give a fuck? It's not your body, mate. They're not making you do anything to yourself. It's like someone getting a really twattish tattoo. Fine, it's their body. Someone wants to take drugs. For me, that's fine. But the problem is the illegality of drugs means there's a trail of blood all the way from Bolivia to up your nose, or all the way from Afghanistan to in your arm, or all the way from Southeast Asia to your fucking weed bong shit, fucking, I don't know, Zulu drugs. Anyway, yes, what was I talking about? Hallucinogens. Yes, I don't know much about drugs. Yeah, the point is that just in and of itself, I think that the only thing that people should have sovereignty over is their own body. That's it. That is the one thing that you should have sovereignty over. Some gammon-faced cunt nut shouldn't have, cunt nut, that's a new word, shouldn't be allowed to have sovereignty imposed over me that I do not want for, like, being a country that stands on its own 2 feet. We can't stand on our own 2 feet. But when it comes to your own body, I think that you should have a degree of sovereignty that you don't have elsewhere when it comes to abortion and things like that. But I do draw the line on it. Obviously, you can't do something to your body that is going to negatively impact other people, right? Being trans doesn't negatively impact other people. Being a suicide bomber, now that negatively impacts other people. Being an anti-vaxxer, that's like being a suicide bomber. It massively affects other people. 207 people dead from COVID. There should be none. There should be no people dead because everyone should be fucking vaccinated. That should be it. Everyone in the country should be vaccinated, but they're not. We've got enough vaccines. Why isn't everyone vaccinated? Well, because of vaccine hesitancy. And absolute gobshites like Gillian McKeith, the poo lady off the telly, looked at people's poos. She looked at poor people's poos and said, oh, your poo's the wrong colour. You need to change your diet and rethink your life. This is a woman who pretended to be a doctor. And then one day it was proved she wasn't a doctor and she had to take the word doctor off all her books because the people who actually qualified to be doctors get a bit pissed off when people just pretend to be doctors. I mean, it wasn't a medical doctor anyway. It was like a doctor of fucking, I don't know, romance novels or something. But even that was fake. From a fake university. David says, Christian, it's their body. If they don't want to operate, it's none of your business. Don't go to bed if you don't like surprise. Simple as that. Well, I've met a lot of trans people, especially in Bangkok. Well, not Bangkok, but Thailand in general. And in Malaysia. And all of them, without like an exception, told me they were trans in the first conversation I had with them. Like literally the first sentence they said, I'm trans. You know, they weren't trying to hide it. They could have done. They fucking well could have done it. They wanted to play a little sneaky trick on me. But no, they were quite open about the fact that they were trans. Because that's who they are. That's how they identify themselves. Panel boy, how do you balance poor life choices with draining health service to fix you? Then again, it's right-wing argument distracting from the real destruction of services by the Tory bad policy choices. Well, yeah, I mean, someone pointed out on the radio today, I thought he made a really good argument, that this scrapping of the £20 top-up of universal credit, which is sorely needed in some parts of the society, which is going to lead to it being taken away. It's going to lead to hundreds of thousands of young people, of children, slipping below the poverty line. And this was pointed out that you're going to see an increase in crime because people need money. That's a good point. who people want peace. They don't want their stuff robbed. They don't want their car broken into. But at the same time, they don't want to give people money. And one of the arguments against universal basic income is that some people might be lazy. I don't give a fuck. There's lazy people all over the fucking place. I don't give a fuck. Just because that guy over there is fucking lazy, right, doesn't mean that woman over there should have to stay in a toxic relationship in which her boyfriend beats her every fucking night because she's scared that if she leaves, she'll lose access to her children. Or end up on the street. That guy's laziness should not in any way impact on that person. And the fact is that, people aren't... Lots of people are not lazy because they just want to sit in front of the TV all day. I mean, people have got mental health problems, but also people are fucking exhausted. A lot of the people on universal credit are fucking working. They're working minimum wage, which isn't a living wage. And it's madness that these people are getting topped up to their wages, which the companies that they work for, the tax dodging shithole multinational corporation companies that they're working for, don't pay tax. They don't pay their staff enough. So we, as the taxpayer, have to top up their wages. Why the fuck are we doing that? If we're going to pay for people to fucking work, why don't we just pay people? That's it, and then they can choose where to work. So propping up these fucking companies. Christian says, no, it's the same. I ask people to pick what drink they want. Pick one for F's sake. If I don't like it, I'll buy you another, but make a choice. Okay, Christian. I don't know where you're going on this trajectory of, you've got to make a choice immediately about what you want. It can be very frustrating when people can't make a choice. Another good reason not to travel in a three. Because if two people want to do something and then one person wants to do something else, you're dragging me on this thing. Anyway, but yeah, when it comes to trans people, I think that's the weirdest argument I've heard yet, Christian. I mean, you might want to say that you think that they're gonna assault you or something, and we can just say, well, that's a load of bollocks. But this one, they're indecisive. Indecisiveness is a reason to discriminate against an entire segment of society, a society that is a minority of a minority. Yeah, no. Pineapple Boy, UBI is needed, but also wider international tax reform. It's all interconnected. It is, Pineapple Boy, it is. Corporate socialism, as Bernie calls it. Yes, corporate socialism, where in America, American taxpayers pay the wages for the people who work for Walmart, one of the biggest companies in America, because Walmart doesn't pay its staff enough fucking money to live, to feed themselves, feed their families, live in a house. Some people decide not to make a choice, yeah. But also, I mean, Christian, you're being a bit facetious here, mate, where you're saying, oh, it's just like, well, whether you want tea or coffee. I mean, this is, if you're going to have an operation, if you're going to have a sex change operation, that is a big fucking commitment. That. I've had a few operations done on me in the past, and not a sex change, obviously, not yet. But it's scary. It's scary going under the knife, not knowing quite what's gonna be there when you wake up. That takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage to do that, and it's a much bigger decision. I mean, I get more annoyed about people who get married and then fucking get divorced. Yeah, make a decision. Tell everyone about it. Get them to come to your fucking party. They all have to buy a fucking dress. And then you get divorced a few years later. What the fuck is that all about, eh? Bastards. Sorry, no offence to divorced people. But, get right up my nose. Make a decision. Stick to it. No, humans aren't like that. They change their minds. Things change. It's like mental health. One of the big problems that we have with mental health at the moment is that there's still an idea that you can just put people in a pigeonhole to say what their mental health problem is. And then you treat that particular mental health problem. But the thing is, you might have a mental health problem that is one thing, and then a year later, it's a completely different mental health problem. It's probably the underlying cause of it might be the same thing, the same chemical process gone wrong in your brain or whatever it is. But the actual symptoms, the way it's expressing itself with you, can change. And so if you have someone who specializes in depression and then they find that the person that they're dealing with isn't actually suffering from depression, they're suffering from borderline personality disorder or some other kind of mental health problem, then things have got to change. But we seem to be stuck in this sort of rut of like, right, once you're diagnosed with this thing, we're going to treat for that thing forever. And I don't think that's not everyone in working in the medical profession, sorry, obviously, but not all doctors, actually not all doctors, but that sort of attitude is still quite prevalent of, oh, but you had this mental health disorder and now you've got that mental health disorder. Why can't you make up your mind? But also Christians' objection to trans people not making up their minds is kind of weird, especially if they've gone through an operation. But what about bi people? What about people who are bi? I mean, once you've had a few drinks inside you, everyone looks good, don't they? Or is that just me? But yeah, it's not about making up my mind. Why should I? Why the fuck should I decide that I'm like, this is the only type of person I'm ever going to go for? And people have preferences. In a gender, they have preferences. And I'd say, I like brunettes. I like brunettes. I don't know why. I just like brunettes more than I like blondes. For instance, never had a blonde girlfriend. I don't think I'm ever going to have a blonde girlfriend. But, I've got off with a few girls who are blonde. And it's not a fast rule, but it's just, just one of those things. It's just my preference. At the moment, it might change. As preferences often do through life. As your tastes change and you mature and you decide that actually, no, cheese is the best thing in the world ever. What was I thinking when I thought that it wasn't? Duke Vengeance says you're more likely to get hired for a job in the UK if you've been to prison than if you have a mental health condition. Oh, that's pretty sad, that. Mental health is connected to employability and connected to poverty and connected to substance abuse and is connected to crime. Yeah. So why can't I have two different drinks? I often do at the same time. Well, yesterday at the barbecue, I was standing there with... Was it yesterday? It was the day before. It was Monday, wasn't it? So it was the day before. I was standing there at one point with a big cup of tea and a beer. Because someone had got me a beer and someone had made me a cup of tea. It's fine. I can do it. Shobai, what if you put those two different drinks in the same container as each other and make yourself a cocktail? Kinky. Does Christian, how do you feel about cocktails? Pineapple Boy says Marcus has brown hair or is it grey? Depends on the amount of beer. Ernie says there are people who are non-binary or a mixture of genders or genderless. Yeah. And, I'm happy for them. Just be who you want to be in life. Wear a stupid hat if you want. I can wear glasses. I can wear contact lenses. I can get laser eye, fucking vision, whatever it's called, surgery. I can just walk around and everything will be a blur if I wanted to. Wouldn't be able to read your comments on the screen here, but, it's my choice. I can have a beard, not have a beard, who cares? Anyway, tea and beer cocktail. Oh, yeah, mate. Visit champions. Right, okay, I'm going to get off because it is 12 minutes past and I have been yakking on for over an hour. I was hoping that Glasgow would come and rescue me from having to get the Discord link up because I thought he was going to do it for me, but he's not here. So I'm going to make the Discord link myself. So you, my friends, can sit there while I do this. So who gave the beer and who gave the tea? The beer, well, it was my beer, but someone else got it from the fridge. I've forgotten who gave it to me. It might have been Ben, actually. It might have been Ben Chambers. And it was Catherine who brought me down a cup of tea. So I thought you might want a cup of tea. And I was like, oh, thanks. I got a beer, but, I can do both. Good night, everyone, says Context. Bye-bye. Marcus loves a ginger. Just look at Wally. Wally's his dog, by the way. David says, come on, it's love. Christian, join in my gay conk. Just go straight. Just go for it, David. I'm more of a long drink type, more because cocktails make you drunk so fast. They do. Imagine going up to the barman now and saying, I'd like a cocktail, please. And they just look at you and go, can't you make your fucking mind up? Just get one drink, you bastard. Right. Cash Dummies just sent a picture on the Discord server and it's me like holding up a coconut like this above my head. Which I could actually reenact that here now with this coconut. I'm going to put a Ginger Island thing on there and put it on the table. That could live there, couldn't it? Could say Ginger Islands. Ginger Island. I'll get my Caribbean Islands book here. I'll do that. 9 days, man. 9 days. Okay, so here's the link to the Discord server. If you'd like to join us on Discord, you're very, very welcome. Right, so it's the Rejoin EU one. And by the way, if you are already a regular, already a member of our Discord community, you will automatically get to join us on... Oh, shit, I pressed the wrong button. Everything's gone horribly wrong. Nope. I've just broken everything. Right, disconnect. Stop doing that. Okay, sorry everyone. Hopefully I'm still broadcasting. All my windows have shut down. Discord has shut all my windows down. Why are you doing this to me? Right, edit this link. Expire after 6 hours. Generate new link. Copy the new link. Bloody hell. Hate it when I have to press 7 on things 7 times to make things happen. Right, and then reopen YouTube chat. There you go. Finally, discord.gg. Stands for Graham Gray. A ginger nut. Like it. Isn't it big business painted with paint? Isn't it a big business with painted coconuts in Hawaii? I don't know. They're a bit big to fit in your luggage. That's the only thing with coconuts. Get rid of this bit. It's really on there. Man. Where's my pen knife when I need it? Oh, there you go. Oh shit, the whole thing's come off. I've broken me coconut. I've broken me nut. That's all right. I'll survive. Right, yeah. I'll do a bit of Ginger Island branding on that. I was thinking of make some t-shirts. What do you reckon? Make some Ginger Island t-shirts. Ginger Vision for me and Marcus. We could wear matching t-shirts. Like, I don't know. To chuck up others. Right, stop playing with your nuts. Hey! That'll be later on my OnlyFans channel. See you there, David. Christian's trying to find it now. Only joking. Right, okay, so thanks very much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I really should be doing Hughes the World about such an African Republic, but I really don't think I'm going to have time to research it. So, sorry, it's just going to have to wait. What I might do when I get back from Ginger Island is do like 2 weeks solid of Hughes of the World just to catch up, because I was hoping to do 52 by the end of the year, and they've kind of stalled a little bit because Ginger Island is taking up a lot of my... server space at the moment. Not server space, headspace. No, not headspace. What's it called? Like time. It's taking up a lot of my time. Now to write a very angry Facebook post about Rob. Yes, please do that, Duke Vengeance. Please do that. Kevin Hegarty says, there's a few of us gingers on here, but David only has eyes for one. Okay, so if you want to head over to the Discord server, I'll be there in a bit. I'm going to make another cup of tea. But otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Please take care of yourselves and each other. And until next time, hello, good evening, welcome. And goodbye.